Hello guys, what we're going to do today is show you how to install and plug up the plugins for your Holden Commodore VE Series 1 vehicle. Now for the Holden Commodore VE Series 1, you can actually do the entire installation with just one of these bad boys and a screwdriver, Phillips head. As simple as that. We obviously here use drills, we use pick tools and a proper fascia removal kit. However, you can just get away with using a screwdriver for all your screws and a fascia removal tool. Nice and simple. So keep those two tools handy. If you don't have the fascia kit removal tool, what we do is we sell it as an extra accessory when you're purchasing the head unit. And I'm guessing everybody has a Phillips head laying around their house. Keep that and you're good to go. So once you open up the actual box itself, you're going to get one of these bad boys, which is your manual. Keep that aside. After you install everything, you're going to have to know how to use the head unit, and that's going to teach you all the functions and features. Let's take the cover and safety off there, and there is your lovely 11-inch vertical screen head unit, Tesla style, for the VE Series 1. This one's been barcoded. This one has all the clips there for your installation, so pop that aside for me. As you can see, before I actually do set it aside, it's a flatback, and flatbacks so easy to install because they don't have a big drive stopping you from pushing it in all the way, and they make life so much easier when they're flatback because the installation process isn't just a nitty-gritty tight fit install. There's a lot more room in the back for you to get handsy with it. So pop that side. You got your back plate. Now this is what's going to be holding it into your vehicle. Very important. Make sure when you're removing the factory one and the factory head unit, this will go first in the correct direction. So the correct direction, which I'll show you guys, is with the screw heads facing towards you. So with the screw heads facing towards you is how you're going to be putting it. So imagine my pretty face is your dash where you're going to be installing everything. You want this to be sitting just like that, okay? And then the drive straight through there. So keep that aside. Make sure you keep it nice and near. This is your accessories kit with all your RCAs, your plugins, and most importantly, obviously, your Canbus as well, which is right there. Yep, and this is your Canbus. This is your main power harness. Very important pieces. Pop them aside. This is your accessories kit that I showed you, which will go through all the pieces. And that is everything in the box. So slap that shut. Use this for the bottom of your fascia when you're connecting up everything to make sure you don't scratch, you don't damage. That's what we have the foam piece in there for. It's not just a pretty little piece. So keep those all together. And let's go through what we have in the accessories kit and explain to you what they are. First of all, main power harness. Key component, the female end over here, the big black one, is going to go to the male end of the one that's coming out of your vehicle. So make sure that you plug it up in the correct way. For the video's purposes, this is just a plug-in video, but the male end, you're going to find it when you remove it from the back of your factory head unit. So keep that handy. Canbus, again, I can't stress how important it is to keep this safe, secure. This is what controls all your air conditioning controls, all your steering wheel controls, basically everything, all the key codes that come from your vehicle. This is what's translating them to our head unit, so you don't need to code anything. Keeps all your factory features working. So make sure that is nice and secure, and when you're installing it, when I show you, we're going to be going very gentle with it, but secure. Firm but gentle. Alright, so let's go through the accessories kit. First things first, you got your radio antenna right there. This side will go into the factory side, circular end, and this side will go to the back of the head unit. Disregard this cable here. This is only used if you need to add extra power for your antenna if it's not working. So if it's not, add extra power, but usually 99.9% of the time you don't need to. So disregard the blue cable during your install unless necessary. Here's your 4G antenna right here. Now with the 4G antenna, it's going to come with the 2 slots inputs in the back of the head unit. This will just go towards our head unit side, and it has 2 slots, 2 of them that go into 2 slots on the back of the head unit, which I'll show you in a moment. Next, you have your RCAs. RCAs have your SIM card slot in them, which you can put a 4G SIM card to give the head unit data to access all the online features. And then you have your RCAs here for connecting your sub, amp, and speaker connections. And most importantly, you also have your microphone connection for your external mic. Now, customers always ask, do I need to use the external mic? I always recommend using the external mic because it's a 2024 microphone /25 compared to whatever microphone was released for your vehicle that year. So if you got a 2008 Holden VE Commodore, you're running a 2008 microphone, we're giving you a 2024 to 25. Use that. Next on our list, we have a GPS antenna, similar to the 4G antenna. It's just going to screw onto the back of the head unit, nice and easy. Has this slot here, and at the bottom of both the 4G antenna and the GPS antenna, you have this little sticky little part, which you peel it off and you stick it to the back of the actual drive. The plate we recommend sticking it to the back of. Next, we're going to have our USB input plug. So you have two USB inputs here. This is the 6-pin variant, so you put this in the 6-pin slot, and you're going to have two USB inputs there that we run to the glove box or under the actual VE Series 1 head unit, nice and easy. Next, you have your reversing camera aftermarket reversing camera input. This is a plug that will connect up most of the HD reversing cameras and the reversing cameras we provide you. You just plug it up here, then on the main power harness you have the rest of the power and trigger that you just tap into. Another USB input, this is a 4-pin plug. You plug it into the back into the 4-pin slot. And lastly, this is for your rear outlets. Now this also has a Canbus connection, so if you're not running any rear audio systems, rear channel outputs, disregard this entire plug. You don't need it for the install, but keep it handy just in case in the future you're going to be doing aftermarket installs for your amps, subs and whatnot. You may require this for your rear outputs. So pop that aside. We already have the plug-in that we're going to be using for it, so let's get into it. I want you to come close to me, and we're going to have a look at how we can plug everything up to the back of the head unit. Now, in the back of the head unit, please remember, everything that we're plugging, we're going to plug up, and then we're going to push those plugs, just like this, through the plate. Now, this plate, you're going to install into the vehicle's chassis itself, where you remove the factory head unit. We have it on our previous video we did in the vehicle, so refer to that. A link will be in the description. But you're going to put this plate in, and everything that we plug up here, when you're popping this head unit and sticking it onto the plate, you're going to be running those through this slot, so it comes out the other side. You also have to remember that this plug that's down the bottom, as you can see, we have the cutout in the metal plate that is identical to the spot there. You're going to be running through this part of it. So when you're installing everything, this should come out just like that, so nothing gets cut. Please be wary of that. Okay, so popping that aside, now that we've gone through that, let's start off nice and simple. And we always like to start with the GPS antenna, because the GPS antenna is the most difficult one to put in. Now in this kit we haven't put in our microphone, but a microphone will be provided to you, which will go to the RCA. So a 2024/2025 microphone, high quality surround sound cancelling microphone, is going to be provided in the kit for you. So as you can see, I put it in the GPS antenna into that screw hole right there, and you just tighten it up. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to tighten up the whole way, but you tighten it up the whole way so it doesn't come loose for you. Next, we're going to put our 4G antenna, which is this one, into the two slots on the right hand side. So let's grab this, pop one here. Alrighty, now once you got those two on for your 4G antenna, that's all good. This right here is a display port input for a HDMI converter, in case you're going to be running any HDMI inputs or outputs, if you're connecting up anything to the head unit. So that is all done for our antennas. Now with the antennas, you can just throw them onto the inside. They have a lot of wiring, a lot of length to them, so place them somewhere. You can put it on the interior of the vehicle when you pop them through, so place them somewhere that they're not going to be up against anything that might cut them. As long as they're not getting cut, they're good to go. We got our antenna aerial, nice and easy. Plug that in. This will go to the factory end. There you go. Let's start with our aftermarket reversing camera input. The aftermarket reversing camera input, I'll turn this around so you guys can see as though it's facing you. 4G antenna, GPS, you got your radio antenna input. Then we're going to grab our aftermarket reversing camera, start with that and put that into the left side. So your right hand side, my left, just like that. That's for your aftermarket reversing camera connections. Next, we're going to grab our 6-pin USB port plug, which is right here, and you plug that into the one next to the aftermarket reversing camera input. Nice and easy, can't go wrong. After that, you got your 4-pin USB input plug, which will go into the slot next to that. There you go, nice and easy. And then afterwards you have your Canbus input. Now the Canbus input is going to come from the main power harness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this for now, so I can show you guys the main power harness separately. And I'm just going to quickly plug up the RCA plug. Now as I'm going through to the RCA to plug it up, I also want to make a mention of this plug. Now you're going to notice next to the RCA and after the Canbus input plug, there's this plug right here. This is for our inbuilt 360-degree camera chip. Now with these head units for $199, you can get a 360-degree camera pack, and the plug for that will go right where my finger is, this slot here, to make your connection much more plug and play and easy for your 360-degree cam. No more box needed because the chip for the 360-degree camera is built inside for you. And now let's go through the Canbus connection. This is your factory microphone connection. Again, we're providing you with a 2024/2025 microphone. Use that, disregard this. Nice and easy, or if you prefer, use it, up to you. Now the main power harness plug, we'll just plug up here. We have that on the bottom right. Make sure we plug it in all the way. You hear the clip, that's nice and secure. Again, be firm yet gentle. You don't want to break anything, cut anything, damage anything, but you also want to make sure everything gets clipped all the way. This one's just wired and tangled just a little bit, which I've just untangled it. Just gorgeous. Alright, so your Canbus connection, let me just go through with what we got here. Now this plug itself, this one, is for your, there we go. This plug here with the orange cable, a little bit wider, is for your external AC controller accessory if you purchase it. If you haven't purchased your external AC controller accessory, this cable here, you can disregard. This is your Canbus connection plug. Now the Canbus connection plug you can immediately identify. There's two cables coming from the main power harness to it, and then you have your 3 RCAs, 2 RCAs connected to it as well. So this Canbus input plug will plug up next to that 4-pin USB input, just like that. And now remember, you want to be gentle yet secure. Make sure it's all plugged in all the way. Don't pinch the wires. Push in always the plastic on the two sides and make sure that it's plugged in correctly. Again, this bad boy is running all your AC controls, air conditioning controls, steering wheel controls. So if you have any issues with AC controls, steering wheel controls, air conditioning controls, and it's a physical issue, this is the first plug to look at. Next, you have the Canbus, which it all goes to. Be gentle yet firm. This plug right here coming from the main power harness will plug up to this side of the Canbus. Done. And the wider side, which is on the opposite end, will plug up to this plug on the main power harness. There you go, plug and play. Now again, if you have any issues with steering wheel controls, air conditioning controls, along with any other sort of factory features, this is the box to look for. These are the two connections, and this is the third connection down here. They can be the only physical causes. So if you have those problems, disconnect, reconnect, make sure they are secure. And definitely last but not least, now as I said, you have this plug for your external AC controller. However, coming off the Canbus, this is a very, very important plug because this will match up with this plug here to give you your AC controls. This will piggyback and get you the AC controls connected. Now you want to plug this up after you've run it through the actual plate. So we're going to leave it disconnected, and I'm going to show you how we push everything through the plate and then we plug the rest up. So as you can see, we're going to flip it, so act like you are now on the car's end. So you're sitting there, and we're going to push everything through. Main power harness, main plugs, absolutely everything. It's a little bit of a mess, but for the sake of the video, to get it done quicker, we're just going to push everything through. Make sure the RCAs, everything is come through. It'll be much more easier in your vehicle because you have it sitting there in one spot. It's not dangling around like this one. There we go. That is all done. And you also have your, we don't want to cut this, so push that around. Done. And last but not least, our GPS antenna. That is just for the major part, the big part down the top, up the top. And once we've got our GPS antenna, all we need to do is plug the, remember this is for the AC controls. So this one that I mentioned before is going to go through its own independent slot. Once it's all through, that has that's clipped in. Beautiful. Imagine that's now clipped into the vehicle, and everything is going to plug up there. So before you clip it in, you're going to connect up the main power harness and everything from the vehicle's end and connect it up to our head unit. And remember, you want to locate that plug for your AC controls, which is right here, and you want to connect these two to make sure that is working. Now you want to make sure that this is secure, tight, don't be too rough with it. Be firm yet gentle, and make sure that it's not this connection, and this will make sure that the digital AC continues working. Now all that's left to do is to grab the main power harness, which is this plug here, so make sure it's plugged up. All your male ends from your vehicle's end, this is your radio antenna, this is your, radio antenna is plugged up and connected up correctly to this little piece. You want to run your SIM card slot, you want to run your USBs, your 3 USBs that we provide you with, which are here and here. You want to run those to the glove box, the SIM card slot to the glove box. You want to connect up any reversing camera to the aftermarket reversing camera plug. Don't be like this mess right here. Obviously, as installers, we tidy it up. We make sure everything is organized with cable ties, with tape. You can do soldering if you want to keep it nice and professional, and audio connections and whatnot needs to make sure that you do that at the best quality possible. So everything else is on the car's end, which you guys should just be able to find the male side, nice and easy, and that is just a plug up for the version 6 head unit on the VE Series 1, and you can also use this as a reference video for your VE Series 2 as well. So that is all for the VE Series 1. Hopefully everyone gets these installed securely, nicely, with everything working. And remember, once you have the head unit in and it's all installed, if your AC controls aren't working but your steering wheel controls are working, all that means is you need to simply select your dual zone or single zone AC control option, and from there you're good to go. You can do that by just heading over to settings, going into version, then in the version you tap model select, and you make sure on the right hand side you select your model of dual zone or single zone VE Commodore. Happy days.